Life along the San Andreas is beautiful throughout the year. The weather, she remains a constant, 65, and they say that if God had a home, she'd be living there. Standing on the cliffs above the ocean, the view along the one will take your breath. To turn around and see the golden rolling hills, where the eagles in the redwoods make their nest. Even though sometimes she may get angry, break a ditch, shake a tree, crack the road, it's a small price to pay for heaven on earth, San Andreas. San Andreas Fault Line. The tiny little town of Pescadero, where the seeds of plenty grow with great success. And the old post at San Gregoria, it was the last stop on the Pony Express. Even though sometimes she may get angry, break a dish, shake a tree, crack the road, it's a small price to pay for heaven on earth, San Andreas. San Andreas Fault Line. San Andreas Fault Line.
I know you didn't bring most of your guitars. Tell me a little bit about what you have sitting at home.
Okay.
It's an interesting guitar.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to bring this guitar out here, but my friend Todd Davey, who recently purchased a beautiful 1941 Martin D45, the pre-war, the holy grail of guitars. He has this guitar, and I fell in love with playing it, and he's a gracious individual, and he lets it stay at my house, and so I can record songs with that guitar along with I think it's a 1940 or 41 D28 and a 1941 D18. So I have a lot of beautiful guitars that I would love to have been able to play on this session because it's Acoustic Guitar Magazine. However, you can't travel with those.
Yeah.
They're such beautiful pieces of art.
Did you use them on the album?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not every song, but several songs we've recorded with them, and we're doing another album in the future that those will be the only guitars that will be on the CD. All through microphones, no plugging in or anything. It's just a tribute to those guitars. It's a wonderful feeling to pick up a guitar like that.
On the album, you play sort of everything, a lot of electric, a lot of acoustic, a whole range of things. What are you most comfortable with?
I think singing with Savana. I think ultimately we've got a beautiful blend together from what we've been told, and we feel that. It's. I used to think, well, my guitar, I'm going to just play some hot guitar lick and whatnot, but normally if you get right down to it, it's the harmony and singing that we go into it.
It is, but he's a modest guy. I mean, he's comfortable with every instrument.
Oh, well, obviously. Yeah, I love the guitar most, but the connection between the kick drum, her snare drum, and me playing my acoustic guitar plugged into an amp, and we can get rock and roll now. I mean, we can stop it on a dime and really put the energy where it needs to, and then completely take a left turn. We didn't show that today necessarily because you have to have all your stuff, but There's many different facets of how we present ourselves to people, and most of the time it requires lugging a lot of stuff for 2 people, but we sound like 4 people when we do it. But I love bass. I love playing the banjo, fiddle, mandolin. I do play a lot of instruments, piano, everything that I can get my hands on. And I'm not necessarily some super advanced person at all of those, but my mind is able to play what I think is needed on the songs. And right now I'm producing more than ever people that you will hopefully interview someday. Scott Nolan, Edward David Anderson, to name a few. They have records coming out that were recorded at Admiral Bean's studio, which is our studio on our property. It's a beautiful thing.
Is there a duo that you particularly admire? I mean, like a singing duo that you kind of look to?
Oh, can we say like Simon and Garfunkel?
Sure, absolutely. I don't know.
I mean, for me, that would be like the holy grail of duos, the harmonies.
Yeah.
I got to see them in Nashville on a farewell tour, and they had the Everly Brothers as special guests.
Wow.
So I would probably be right there with them as the Everly Brothers. But
2 potential battles there, though. I don't know.
And then,
it was
of
fantastic.
course, then on a more personable level, you have Johnny Cash and June Carter, which that's those people had that kind of variety show humor, and people like Sonny and Cher. We
the
have
husband
that.
and wife. I mean, they you can tell when there's like a special bond between 2 people, and so that's something that you can't find that often.
It's funny because you hear people talk about brother harmonies or sister harmonies, but I haven't heard that much about husband and wife. But I guess it makes sense that you'd have some kind of
We got
connection.
lucky, I mean, I don't think it always happens with husband and wife that you blend the way we do.
And ultimately, that's, as beautiful as she is, and I'm telling the truth, get the old Bible out, but I really fell in love with her vocal with mine. It made me realize that this was the second time that I felt the light bulb come on in my head about music. The first time was obviously, hey, music, I love it. I was 8 years old, and that's what I'm going to do. I knew early on there was no other option. Sorry about scientific advancement, but I'm not going that direction. I'm going music. But but then I wrote all these songs that just were sitting there, and then when she sang with me, I realized that was the missing ingredient. And now they all make sense. Even though the songs don't make sense, they make sense now because of the harmony. There's something about the gel of her personality with me, and everything, at least for me, I have a sense that of a complete delivery, as opposed to just writing songs from nowhere and never performing them. That's what I love about Sugarcane Jane, is the opportunity to play songs that would have never been presented to anybody. And certainly the harmony is a magic carpet that they ride on. Yeah, so this guitar is pretty colorful, and thanks, Susan. It's called My New Guitar.
In case you haven't noticed, I have got a new guitar. Got a bright and shiny finish and a tortoiseshell pickguard. Got a new strap and a new case, yeah, she's ready for the road. I got a song in my heart and away I go. La da 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 da. Well, I try to be a friend to everyone I meet. When I look into the eyes of this stranger I see. Somewhere down inside their soul, they're searching just like me. They may be together on the outside, but still water runs deep. Da 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 da. In a hotel room in LACA, down on my luck, my mind was needing sleep while my stomach kept me up. Had no money in my pocket, no plastic for advance. That's where I swear I'd help the hungry if I ever got the chance. Da 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 da. Well, I headed up to Reading for a nearly sold-out show. A little creative counting hurt nobody, I suppose. You see, I sung into a mirror when there were no other ears. My home is on the stage, and I should love it here. Na 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 na.
I'm curious, you've worked with so many different people through the years and, played on all these various tours. Is it hard to sort of find your own sound when you've sort of been responsible for being part of other people's sound?
I could answer that both ways. The influence that you get just through osmosis of being around Neil Young, who was my main influence. Of course, playing acoustic guitars and being in love with that style of music. A lot of the songs that I was writing at that time did turn out to be similar, but as time goes on, I've been able to launch away from his world into mine. And with Savana, when she sang harmony with me, it clicked over a new page turned, and there is no problem finding out who I am or who we are. We're all using the same chords. There's only so many, and so these days, no. Back then, yes, I actually had a struggle of figuring out who I was, and early on in finding my own voice. In my early days of loving and understanding and learning music, I would listen to Glenn Campbell, Buck Owens, all these people, and my voice would mimic them because I was 12 years old or whoever, whatever age. It's difficult to know who you are till later, and for me, certainly way later. I never have been on the cutting edge of finding out who I am early. I'm always late. I'm 58, and it's just now hitting me that certain things about life that people get maybe in their 20s. Yeah. So it's a good thing.
How did you guys discover your vocal blend? I mean, were you together as a couple before you were singing together, or?
No, I met Anthony in Nashville when I on the Deep Field studio, and he was doing some recordings there, and I think he was probably just doing me a favor and wanted me to demo some of his songs. So that was the first time that we actually heard our voices blend together, was trying to find the key to one of his songs. But as soon as we started singing, we kind of knew that there was something special there. And then after my relationship ended and I was getting out of Nashville and out of that whole music scene, he wanted to do something for me and get a solo album for me. And I did a lot of his songs, or all of his songs actually, except for I did one Steve Forbert song. But so we worked together on that project. It was called Redbird, and he sang like most of the background vocals to that. So, you know, we kind of knew at that point we wanted to be in each other's lives musically, and then fell in love, you know.
Well, what's not to love? Look at me. Okay.
Tell me about the Sugarcane Jane entity, such as it is. I mean, it's not really a band, but it's you guys. I mean,
It is. A lot of people would assume, of course, that this would be Jane.
Jane, right.
I'm Sugar, I guess. Or Mr. Kane. But it's funny that her, the first time she ever took me to the property that they live on, that they've had for generations. It's a large piece of property down in Alabama. And we were riding down this long dirt road, and she was telling me how her grandfather used to have some sugar cane out there on the property, and I found it fascinating. And she told me the story about how he would, at Halloween, he would cut some up and just flick it to all the little kids around. This was maybe back in the 50s, maybe, you know, before wrapped candy, I guess. But, you know, just a very rural sort of story. And of course, I just started singing Sugarcane, and then Jane rhymed with it. And I think it was meant to be that we were Sugarcane Jane because it's a friendly name, and we're pretty much a family-oriented musical entity. And instead of just being Anthony and Savana, I mean, it's just way more interesting. But it's confusing to people to know that it's the two of us, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've had to overcome the fact that, you know, most people would come up and say, Jane, you know. It's hard to let people know that it whatever the meaning.
when you recorded the album, you were a collaborator on this, Buzz Cason.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about him.
Well, Buzz, I found myself involved with great people over my experience through life, and Buzz is another one of them who is somehow I became writing partners with this writing genius man. He's written a lot of big songs. I take all our interview to go and talk about his writing skills, but he took a liking to me and my energy, and we somehow I would pretty much write these pieces of music, and he could instantly come up with something that seemed as if it were meant to be together. You know, the album that we did is full of these songs that we wrote together very quickly, maybe 25 songs. And so Buzz is a huge reason why we're here today and out touring. He's pretty much paid for everything, and
Huge supporter.
Huge believer in Sugarcane Jane.
There's a big range to the material, which is, I think, really appealing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some sort of country stuff, and there's sort of rockabilly flavors here and there.
Well, this man is so youthful in his spirit. He's like ageless when it comes to his music, and even his appearance. He doesn't seem to go anywhere. He's staying right where he is.
And if you look at his cuts, I mean, they range from, you know, Martina McBride to U2, the Beatles.
The Beatles covered, you know, one of his songs.
Really?
Yeah. Soldier of Love, I think, was on a live album or
really?
something.
Okay.
Yeah. He's just had his hands in a lot of things. And I think that my life has been enriched by people of greatness, you know, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm the Forrest Gump of music business. I've ridden in a balloon with Richard Branson and Steve Winwood, you know.
Yeah.
Just a lot of things that I could write about one of these days when I learn how to spell. Actually, we started playing this song recently. I wrote it years ago, and then kind of finished it up. A lot of my songs I've written years ago, and then now that I'm able to think about why I was even living, and my kids have brought out a different side of my brain that wasn't active at that time, and now all the songs make sense. And this song is about really enjoying the moment when you see people. You gotta love them.
Not questioning anything.
Yeah, just love everybody, because you might not ever see them again. It's called Never Do You Know. 1, 2.
up in pain this morning, having her way inside my head, and I felt the world was coming to an end. As I placed my feet to the floor, I felt the chill of last night's dream there to remind me once again, once again. Never do you know if this will be the last time that we look into each other's eyes. Never do we know if this will be the last time we say goodbye. You could be delayed from one last kiss, life second held, life back to miss what otherwise would be a different day. 'Cause out of nowhere the end could come, that red light runner that you don't see. Slow down, look both ways and get home to me. Get home to me. Never do we know if this will be the last time that we look into each other's eyes. Never do we know if this will be the last time we say goodbye. I'm so thankful for the inconvenience, traffic jams, and the crying babies. That very thing that slows you down could be the very thing that keeps you around. Never do we know if this will be the last time that we look into each other's eyes. Never do we know if this will be the last time we say goodbye. Thank you, fellas.